Welcome on in, guys. Three bold takes, and again, we're starting another series where we talk about all these conferences, the four, not the five. Sorry, Pac-12. I hate it, but they are no more. If you're new here, guys, smash that subscribe button, leave a like for us. It'll really help the channel out a ton. In this video, we're going to discuss the SEC, and what we're going to do for all these conferences is we're each going to give four teams that have a legitimate chance to win the conference. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, oh, that's easy. That's not that hard. Yeah, for two of the conferences, it's pretty easy, right? But when you talk about the Big 12 and the ACC, finding that fourth team is near impossible. So we're going to get right on into it. Quinn, let's hear your four SEC teams that you think have a chance to win the conference in 2024.
I'll start. I'll go four up to one. My fourth place team is Alabama. I think there is a lot of talent on that team. They're going to be a threat to anybody. I think good coaching staff, but I think it's all new and it all needs time to gel. And that's a big deal in a conference like the SEC. There's a lot of loaded and talented teams. So I think Alabama, while I don't think they're going to be dead in the water, and they're definitely going to be a team you don't want to sleep on a week in, week out basis, I do not believe that they are going to be like the top team to beat this year in the SEC. My number three, I'm going to go with Texas. I think they've got a returning powerhouse at quarterback, a lot of hype around the team, first year in the conference, relatively easy schedule, good opportunities. I'm just a little reluctant to put them ahead of my top two. My number two team, I'm
Do it.
on the
Do it.
Lane
Do it.
train
Do it. Do it.
super hard. I think Ole Miss and Texas are roughly the same team. And I think that this is just some kind of whack magic that's starting to build up down in Oxford. I think there's a lot of like momentum there. There's been multiple seasons now where people are like, oh, he had a good year, but it won't be good next year. And then they're still good and competitive every year under him. They get better and better. I think this is a year where Ole Miss definitely punches above their weight class and finishes pretty high up in the SEC. But number one will be Georgia for the foreseeable future. Georgia is set up better than any program in a coaching stability standpoint, coaching staff standpoint, talent standpoint to run the conference. Now, the thing that worries me for Georgia this not necessarily this year, but going forward, is part of what's helped with their consistent dominance has been a relatively easy schedule, especially for an SEC schedule playing in the East. They got to play Vandy every year, Kentucky every year, Missouri every year, South Carolina every year, and Florida every year. Really, their only test came if they drew difficult opponents in the West, one of which was Auburn. So they weren't really drawing a whole lot of difficult SEC games in a given season. That's going to change in the new format. But I still think they're better suited than any other program, definitely for 2024 and the foreseeable future. So I got Georgia as my number one team.
So, guys, let me tell you why I believe Florida has a shot at number 4 here. No, I'm just kidding. My exact number 4 is just like Quinn's. It's Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss, Georgia, in that order. Georgia easily outclasses everybody. Strong on both sides of the ball. Added some great coaches this offseason as well. They're going to be successful unless Kirby Smart leaves all of a sudden. 2, Ole Miss. Just like Quinn said, they have absolutely killed it in the transfer portal, recruiting trail, a successful 2023 campaign. There's no way that momentum doesn't translate to 2024 and makes them a top 2 team in the SEC. Nick Saban's gone, which means Alabama's going to be down. Auburn's still figuring things out. Texas and Oklahoma are putting their feet in the water. We're going to see how they do with SEC schedules. You really only have to focus about Georgia, and Quinn may have mentioned, but I don't think Ole Miss's schedule is too crazy for this next year. So that's a big one for me. I think they have the opportunity to be amazing this season. And then Lane Kiffin honestly could be in the talks of, hey, sign a lifetime contract at Ole Miss, please, dear God, that kind of deal. 3, Texas. They have a crazy schedule. It's kind of opposite of Ole Miss. They have a really tough schedule this year. They're playing an SEC schedule for the first time, in which, if you're an SEC fan watching this, you're always saying how tough an SEC schedule is. We're going to see if Texas and Oklahoma can actually succumb to that and play well in the SEC throughout the strength of the season. And then Alabama at 4. strong hires this offseason, amazing hires. They only lost 2 recruits, I believe it was, a couple of transfer portal guys that left, but you have a strong team that's come in. We're just going to see if Kalen DeBoer and the rest of his guys come in and really can execute like everybody believes they can. Ryan Grubb leaving for the Seahawks kind of hurts a little bit. I think I'm a little down on that. We're going to see how the new OC steps in. I think it's Nick Sheridan. Him and Kalen DeBoer coached together at Indiana. So we're going to see how that works. But from what I'm hearing from camp and everything, Jalen Milroe looks great. The offense looks great. The running backs are on the move. So it's going to be a really good season for Alabama. But there should be a step off from the greatest coach to ever grace a football sidelines. So that's why I have them at 4. Fred?
Yeah, I mean, mine's the same 4. I
Come
think the
on!
SEC is the easiest to do here. You guys have already outlined why each team should be there, so I'm not going to do that. I do want to mention this on the Alabama thing, though. Will there be a drop-off? Yes, but not a drop-off from the last couple of years we've seen from Alabama. I think it'll be obviously a drop-off from when they were winning national championship after national championship. Last couple of years, 10-2, I mean, I still think that's in the cards, right? So how much of a drop-off from the latest version of Alabama under Nick Saban? I don't know how much. But yeah, same 4. I think Ole Miss is right there. Lane Kiffin. If I had to go 5, I would go Missouri at 5, and then probably like Tennessee at 6. But we're only doing 4, so those are my top 4. I think it's kind of hard to choose anybody else besides those 4.
Right.
So thanks for watching, guys. That's been our 4 teams that have a legitimate shot to win the SEC next year. Be looking out for the rest of the videos on every other conference. Share to your friends. Let us know down below if we're idiots or if we know what we're talking about. Probably idiots. But, guys, it's been Chase, Quinn, and Freddie from 3 Bold Takes. We will see you guys next time.